Let's see whether we are live on Facebook. Yes, we are live. Hello. Is there anyone watching this? This is the UI bot talking. If you can hear me, can you just type hello into the comment? Is there anyone watching us now? Okay, we have 8 people online now. If you can hear me, can you just type UI bot into the comment? Nobody can hear me. Devin, are you able to hear me?
Yes, UI bot.
Okay, but I'm not sure whether the audience is able to hear me. Audience, can you hear Devin? If you can hear Devin, can you just type in Devin? Thanks, Celine. Thanks, Charlene. Okay. Celine, why the voice so cute? Because I am a bot and I am a baby bot. Okay. Let's just wait for a few more minutes where we have more people coming in. So this is the first episode of our UI Outliers interview. Okay. Okay, I have shared our PowerPoint. Are you able to see the PowerPoint? If you can see the PowerPoint, can you type in chips? CHIPS. I think there will be some lag between Facebook Live, so we'll have to wait a bit for the comments. Thanks, Celine. Good. Okay, we have 30 people now, so we're going to start the show now. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another session of UI Outliers interview, featuring me, the UI bot, as the host. Allow me to share a little about ourselves if you are new to Ultimate Investing. Ultimate Investing combines fundamental and technical analysis together using our FATA option strategies to allow investors to gain an unfair advantage. Please give us a like, comment, or share this broadcast. Your help goes a long way. Today, we are happy to have Devin with us to share about his love affair with chips, edible and non-edible type. Before we invite Devin online, we would like to announce that there will be a prize at the end of the session for the most engaging chatter during our live session. He or she will get a mystery prize from Ultimate Investing. The result will be announced on our Ultimate Investing Facebook page. Without further ado, let us now welcome Devin online. Hi Devin.
Hi, UIBot.
How has your day been?
Hi, UIBot. Thank you for inviting me to the interview. I'm doing great today.
Okay, Devin, would you like to share more about yourself and what is your relationship with chips?
All right, UIBot. Okay, let me start with something that all the way here during my years in the diploma side. Okay, I'm coming from the semicon industry side as I'm studied from in my diploma as a diploma course. It's called microelectronics. So from there on, it's actually gave me so-called deep impressions on chips and the semicon side. So from then on, it's actually I'm in love with chips and get to know that chips can do a lot of stuff and what are the benefits of the chips that actually works well for certain things.
So, you invest in chip companies? Can you share some insights into some of them?
Yeah, sure, UI bot. Yeah, I invested in mainly in AMD. Okay, their rivalry is actually Intel, but however, why I invest in AMD is not just about its competitiveness, but it's also about why AMD has been chosen is AMD has been so-called underlining pressed down by Intel for very, very long time. But I can see that AMD has changed certain things when there is a change in the management, especially when it comes to the officers in charge or the CEOs that actually take over the position and make AMD's different way of um, chips it was 10 years ago or even 15 years ago, I would say. Yeah. So if anyone who knows of AMD in the past 15 years, it's AMD has not been a very so-called like uh, well chosen over Intel, as some of them will think of like AMD is just for mainly for overclocking or certain function that okay you can buy certain things at the cheap price and then just replace it when it's damaged. Unlike Intel, it's like kind of a premium kind of chips that in the market. Yeah, but however, this semicon industry has been changed in the past 10 years since there is even more companies that is fighting for this market, and also in its market itself or in its sector itself, it actually breaks into different categories of it. Yeah, so maybe I can share it later. So yeah, so those who want to know more about in depth of what is um, been separated in the semicon, yeah, please put down in the comments and ask the question on what kind you want to know as well. Yeah.
So, in the four companies that we have on the PowerPoint, AMD, Intel, nvidia, and ARMS, um, which one do you prefer and do you have some insights on them for us?
All right. Yeah, I can share a little bit of insights within the four companies, but I also will share some of the outside of these four companies as well. Okay, maybe I start with AMD first. Okay, AMD has actually recently launched a few of its new products and also trying to gain back certain obsolete product, or should I say, which they are not fighting for right now in the market. Now they are trying to get back certain market shares from the gaming and even the graphics card sides. So from now, I would say that AMD has already outbeaten certain perspective on Intel. Yeah, in the sense that AMD has much more better performance and even better so-called like not just about money making, but the market share has grown even wider than it was. It's trying to take away Intel's of superiority over them because the two of them are the main factors in building the processors, yeah, in the brain of your computer. So this is what makes AMD a much more competitor than Intel, where Intel has not been producing a so-called like outstanding and innovative kind of products that allows people to so-called like wow, I would say. And above all, AMD has one of the strong competitors, which is nvidia. And why nvidia and arms is here is because nvidia has actually recently bought over arms, which arms is a very unique kind of semiconductors company, which they deal with not in the GPU side, but more on the functioning and the purpose of helping them to improvise or even to adapt certain special performance that they are lack in their computing. So ARM is a more of like kind of, if those people who knows this industry, it's kind of like Texas Instruments, or even the nearby competitor is Xilinx. It's like something like a programmable chips that support certain functions for building up and so-called like telling them what to do and then how to use certain memories for certain things, and also how to support certain programs to do specific tasks. Yeah. So also has one opportunity is that AMD has recently announced just I would say 2 months ago, that they will be acquiring Xilinx, and they are talking to the Xilinx company, which is the programmable company chips that Xilinx is going to be so-called like buying over them to acquire into their portfolio. So AMD makes it has a big rivalry between nvidia. All right.
Wow, there seems to be a lot of buying over. Is chip companies so delicious? They always want to eat each other.
It's not just about delicious. It's about, because in this market, it's kind of different from other markets, as well as kind of different perspective in a way. In the maybe retail side or even in the energy side, it's not like you just buy over them and then use their resources. What we call in the semiconductor is that we actually merging them and then to be so-called like making a company consolidating their main patents or their main design for certain features that um, they use a lot of research and engineer to actually produce it to make certain performance. Yeah, so they are buying each other is because certain companies has only certain restriction. Yeah, because of its cost and its manufacturer's requirements, it's a very difficult to have everything into one arms. Yeah, like maybe I can give an example is that Intel is trying to do a lot of stuff, but then when it comes to like making a unique product, it's kind of difficult because they have to separate their production lines and also their designing or certain kind of factors into it. Whether is there anyone to buying these things, or what is the so-called like the market size of people who want to buy these kind of items. Yeah, because sometimes you might make something new, but then yet no one applies it. It's a very difficult kind of situation where you have to either obsolete that item or just to so-called like we would cause that not to sell it all and we scrap it. It's actually a waste of money and a waste of investment. So in that case, it's, I would say as an investor, you don't want to waste money just like that.
I see. So, do you think that Intel also want to eat some chips? Any potential companies?
For currently, I think Intel will not be doing such so because uh, they are recently, I would say they purchased 4 5 years ago a so-called like competitors between ARMS and Xilinx. Is actually the main competitor is Xilinx. It's Altera. It's also an Altera is also a programmable chip company, which is also a part of quite big pie, which in the industry for semicon, together with Xilinx. So they actually form a so-called like part of this, what we call it, a sector between the semicon. It's just purely programmable chips. They don't do anything except purely programmable. But however, because they when they bought it, it's at a quite recent price. But then the thing is that they haven't been producing good performance chips or so-called like devices to put it into their production or certain devices. So they're still working the kinks lah. So they're actually much more into their core business of the processor. So they're actually fighting the market with AMD right now to see whether who can develop the next smaller scales of the nanometer and better performance kind of way.
Okay, David, we have talked quite a fair bit about chip companies. Can we talk about your portfolio so far? Can you share with us?
Yeah, sure. Let me share with you.
So we actually have your recent portfolio which you sent to Ultimate Investing. So do you want to briefly go through the performance?
Yeah, I think mainly currently the portfolio that I'm invested in are quite a widespread actually. I'm not just investing currently in chip company. I also investing into which is quite popular right now, NIO, which is a EV company, an electrical vehicle company, and I'm also looking into some e-commerce and the manufacturers Micron. Yeah, as these are also part of the so-called like branches that the semicon industry is touching on, and going into them to talk about them and to discuss on them what is the opportunity that they can serve them with lah, and what their products they can provide them with. Yeah.
I see. We see that your AMD portfolio has grown by 600 over percent. So what makes you buy them at that time, and how long ago was that?
Okay, AMD, I have bought it since I would say 4 5 years ago, which where AMD was in the very, I would say, a cheaper price, but yet it's a value kind of company that at that time that it has potential of growing. At the same time, uh, it's also the time where the new CEO take over, which is very interesting. The CEO that take over currently, that is uh, Lisa Su. Lisa Su has a very strong background in this semicon industry, not just in manufacturing, not just in design, and not just in um, how to manufacture and build so-called like innovative products, but also the business concepts as well. So during that time, I read up on not just about the companies, but also about the background that who is heading this industry for this area. Yeah, because when as AMD during that time, they are actually struggling because they are producing a lot of messy stuff, and their processes is not like currently what we can see that everyone in the so-called like when we go to YouTube, they can see AMD is a very strong company in certain areas. They have outperformed certain perspective in Intel's that has been lacked off. Yeah, and also uh, generation to generation, it's you no need to throw away the old PC, but you can upgrade it using the old PC and put in a new chips to just run it. Yeah, so they are interchangeable parts, I would say.
Wow, so you must have a lot of conviction in AMD at that time. So are you going to hold the stock forever?
I would hold the stocks until AMD shows a different sign and different directions. But currently, I would say they are in what their directions that they have actually put in their logos, or so-called like their coming lines, or what they are producing and what they are going to perform in. So currently, they are focusing mainly on gamings and more onto performance, and those who needs really to do a lot of data analysis or data extracting or data performance. Yeah, they are building into this. So this is the so-called the route for most of the chips company as well. So they are not changing direction. So I don't feel that it will be any time that I will sell it, or any time that I will drop it.
I see. I was looking at your portfolio and another company came out. It's almost 50% of your portfolio. This company is called NIO. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, okay. For new, it's a different separate things. Yeah, when I bought it that time. Why I bought new is because a lot of my previous working company, Xilinx, they are investing heavily into this automotive industry as well, because of certain companies that actually start this revolution. I would say everyone will be familiar, Tesla. And Tesla has been so-called the dominating market in electrical vehicles, and they are doing a lot of performance and other thing kind of gimmicks into it. So NIO is also one of the so-called like the pioneer in certain ways. Some of their so-called better performance car or better production are also slowly down the line to produce out, rather than some certain companies that produce different kind of varieties and then just sell out the thing. But NIO is very strategized, and also they are going into separate market on the EV. They're not just producing the vehicles, they're also producing the chargers. So the chargers is the issue that a lot of them that is, I would say, when those people who want to convert petroleum-based automotive to electrical, because charging is the problem that anyone faces, as there's a lot of different type of chargers and a lot of different type of speed of charging, and also how long can the one charge takes. Yeah.
Wow. How do you learn so much about electric vehicles? It's not a semiconductor chip company, right?
Yeah, it's not about like semiconductors, but because EV is something that I would say interesting, and also near to what I like as well. I like to look at certain companies, certain technologies, and see what is their potential, or is there any applications, or even people that is investing actually in the sometime in the private sectors, how much they are actually using, and then once a certain maturity, then they will start to so-called like launch it out to the market. So actually the EV cars has been a lot of support from different governments, especially Singapore is one of the so-called like heavily investing in EV cars, and governments in Singapore also provides so-called like additional benefits. Those who bought EV cars, you have a lot of incentive, I would say, to just over petroleum car. You can, some of them you can buy it as low as like minusing off your COE price. You just buy barely just the car price kind of way. But you must know what type of car suits you. And then now, whereas there's more competition within this EV market, and all those non-EV companies are trying to get into this market as well. So EV cars is actually now making a big kind of like I would say awareness that, yeah, there's more people to going to convert, and benchmarking to it is Tesla, and Tesla has been reaching the limits, or the sky is their limit. So yeah, there's still ways long to go lah.
Yes, you mentioned about autonomous driving. So meaning the car is driving by itself, like by a robot?
Yeah, okay, correct, yeah. But however, I know that NIO is not very much into autonomous, but then they also have so-called like part of it in autonomous sector in building their autonomous, as this is also a race between all the EV cars and all the autonomous vehicles that they are producing. And all of that, this company, nvidia, is one of the so-called heavily supporting all those companies that are doing autonomous driving. Yeah, because nvidia has a very strong, not just the GPU, but its programming and its software, I would say, that supports them to do autonomous. Yeah, so autonomous is something I would say in the near future, that when you have something not in the science fiction but in real time. Yeah, and also you won't see this just in the airplane like autopilot. You might even see this in cars. So you might take a rest and let it drive. But however, there's still a long way to go. As what I know is that autonomous level, to reach there, there's certain criteria, and there's regulations that supporting who is the so-called like the level that they reach on autonomous. Yeah.
I see. I thought I can get a job as an autonomous car driver because I'm also a bot. Anyway, there is a question from Angus. He's asking about NIO. They are actually raising funds for 600 million shares. What is your view on this, on the impact of the share price of NIO? Any comments?
For that so-called raising of funds, from what I know, because during pre-COVID time, US actually launched this very special initiative, because they will try to actually ask their citizens to try to convert their cars to so-called like electrical. Yeah, but because there's as you know, EV cars does not have a standard charging, and does not have a standard kind of a way to do certain things, or unlike the traditional automotive industry. So what NIO is also part of it is that they are raising funds to actually provide shares, and to so-called like making up the bigger side of it is, I would say, they're actually investing in the charging sector. So they're actually raising price to so-called like get people into getting their charger, or even making their charger one of the so-called like a universal way lah. Yeah, that you use that. Okay, one charger you can do all kinds of things, or yeah, one charger you can do any vehicles charging. Yeah, because in the EV side, as different country has different voltage and different requirements, EV charging has a different requirements as well. So even Tesla has been a standard charging for them as well. So I would say they raise this price is most probably they have other reasons to so-called expand their market into this area as well. And Tesla has also heavily provide the so-called like changes as well, because Tesla also heavily invest in their charging. And whereas in the US alone, charging station is not everywhere, and there's not every concentrated, just like Singapore. We are not concentrated. Yeah. So this is what I would think lah. Yeah.
So they are probably raising funds in order to invest in the infrastructure part of things. And
Yeah.
by doing so, because the stock has quite a lot of momentum, this is probably the best time to raise money by selling shares. But whether the price of the share will drop because of that, I think we can only wait and see. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, because not just there's another company that is purely also investing money in charging. I think is Nikolai. Yeah, Nickel. Yeah,
I think I heard the company is called Blink.
yeah,
It could be Blink that
yes,
is doing just pure charging. Yeah, so that is another area that we can investigate. Okay, we've got two more questions regarding semiconductor chips. Irene is asking, is TSMC a direct competitor of AMD?
I can say that it's not direct competitor. It's actually a supporting role. Okay, for most semiconductors company, not all semiconductors company wants to they have their own fab, which is AMD has been so-called like been a fabless company, whereas last time 10 years ago, I would say somewhere there, and they have actually moved that part of their so-called like to outsource this to TSMC. Yeah, and there are not many foundries, I would say, that helps to support all these things. And these are the things that actually determines how much cost does you need to so-called like put it in to manufacturers, and also the cost of maintaining that foundry. So that cost itself, now they have actually put it investing in other areas. Yeah, so not just AMD, nvidia has been doing this for a very long time, and the next company that I know, Xilinx, is also not doing their own manufacturing, so most of them they outsource. And even the big companies like Qualcomm, and even some uh, companies that do chips, also mainly they're outsourcing to either Micron, USMC, TSMC, these are the main, I would say, in the semicon industry, that they are quite well-known foundries, and they are quite the so-called like the top, the premium level of production companies that actually able to so-called like give them a better performance, or even better competitive price and cost to them. Yeah.
I see. So AMD concentrate on the design, and then they actually ask TSMC to manufacture the chips for them. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I see. So there's another lady, Celine. She's asking any other potential companies that are chip related outside of AMD, nvidia, and Intel that you are looking at.
Currently I'm looking at Micron, and also the another company is called, I think, give me a moment. What is that company?
You mentioned Qualcomm just now also. Is
Yeah,
that one of it?
one of them is Qualcomm. Yeah, and there's one more that I couldn't remember. Maybe once I get it, I will put it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, so for Celine, Micron and Qualcomm is two companies that Devin is looking at, and he is looking for some more. Okay, so Devin, your portfolio is very impressive. You made year to date about almost 17,000 US dollar. And can you tell us when did the gain came in for you? Is it only a few months, or is the whole 11 months?
I would say this is more onto the few months. This is this screenshot is actually the past near to a month or so, and the so-called the portfolio that I have been built up is 3 to 4 months ago. But however, AMD has been there for 4 years, but the rest is almost okay, except Neo. Neo is around 3 years. The rest is just around 3 to 4 months ago. Yeah, that built up all this.
Wow, that is so impressive. Okay, Devin, we understand that you have undergo training with Ultimate Investing. They actually teaches FA, TA, and options. So what is your preference and how do you use this teaching to your advantage?
Okay. For the auto investing course, what I learned from auto investing course is that for FA, it's not a new thing for me because I have learned it more certain so-called like even the calculation on how to derive that formulas to how to perform that task and what the thing during my uni time. So for the auto investing, actually the things that attracts me is the TA and the option portion, which I cannot learn during my school times. It's something to do with the way that the core modules is being so-called like line up. So it's just a touch and go kind of way. But for what I can see that the touch and go, they tell certain points, but however, because I cannot ask certain question or even go in depth because due to time constraint and the lectures, yeah. So auto investing gave me a so-called like a platform for me to learn new things and also to build up a stronger, I would say, a stronger part which I miss or so-called I lack of is the TA and the option. Yeah, TA is actually more on just looking at charts and actually how you apply the charts with getting all the fundamentals right, and then when is the time for you to actually enter in the correct way where fundamental is calculating out, and but then you will calculating that okay, this price has been way past what the TA has. So yeah, so there's a conflict, but however the conflict has been so-called like um, erased because of auto investing, because our trainer and our mentor has give us certain guidelines that when you're supposed to enter and when you're supposed to exit and when you're supposed to able to hold and even so-called like project when what is the trend of it. Yeah, it makes it a beauty that you will not learn this in most classes or even any uni course, because it's not part of the so-called curriculum that okay, you learn this one will work in the market kind of way. Yeah, so uni aside, these are all things that practical, I would say, and it's reasonable that you can actually do so-called like earnings of yourself or so-called like even some passive income, but not just passive income lah. You have the passion of investing more and earning more for your families as well. Yeah, I would say.
Nice. So, what are some advice you have for people who are just starting out to invest?
Okay. For those who starting out investing, I would say that most of y'all or most of us that start to invest will surely have read before, like Warren Buffett, certain books that actually tells you about the very strong fundamentals and everything. Yeah, me too. I also look at Warren Buffett and some of the so-called gurus there to read out their books and how to see all those things and how to uh, actually find out what is the benefits of it on investing. So not don't just stop there. You may even want to try out on how auto investing can actually make FA a bit more easier and also the mixture of TA is actually, I would say, a perfect match, or I would say fundamentals on how you touch your basics, because you do not need to go through like me, I need to go through half a year of uh, lectures and courses in my uni time to just learn one single thing, the fundamentals. Yeah, so this UI course is actually, I would say, cut short that process, makes it effective in the market, and then makes it easy for even those people or my friends that even outperform me, that do not have even a single background in so-called like the finance side or the accounting side or anything. Without that, you still can be a solid investor.
Wow. Okay. So it's to learn as much as you can, but also to learn what is practical and what works in the market.
Yeah, I would
So
say.
let's look at some comments and questions from the ground. So at this point, if you have more questions for Devin, please type it into the chat group. So let me ask some random questions if there is no questions. So Devin, are you single and available?
No, I'm not single and available. I have a kid, I have a wife. Yeah. Okay, I just
Oh,
married.
stupid me. I saw the picture. Okay, so are they part of your motivation to do well in investing?
Yeah, I will say so. And also, not just that, I will also add in additional is that uh, I might have another umbrella when really emergency come, because I can see that certain just like an insurance, you need a so-called umbrellas to actually cover them, and also that in really bad times you can do this, and in good times you also can do better. Yeah, so COVID has actually changed the way that I plan my stuff and even do my investing. Yeah.
Okay, so now are you confident to generate steady stream of income from your investing portfolio?
I would say I am able to so-called like generate near to good and maybe even more than average. Yeah. Because what I did it during these 3 months, 3 to 4 months in my portfolio is that I'm not just looking at the growth company, but I'm looking ahead, even though this company is not performing good, but then they have solid fundamentals. I will put a bit of them into buying the stock itself and the whole, just like AMD, because uh, I can see that some companies like AMD or some companies that actually not performing well right now is because some of them don't have the opportunity or don't have the market for them to so-called like push. Yeah. So for AMD wise, they have been building for the past 4 years and they has been improving. So I'm using the same method with those companies and to see whether how long it can improve until it really go down into a disappointment, I would say.
I see. So no question, but let me ask you from UI bot. They say that semiconductor industry is cyclical. Can you explain a little about that?
Okay, yeah. Semiconductor company might be a cyclical because certain companies has different so-called like uh, launches, I would say. Like maybe I make a very example kind of AMD. AMD has always made their so-called like their launches during the holiday season or even their near to holiday season kind of launches. They don't randomly launch their product. that way. And even nvidia also has certain ways of launching their products. And whether also one more thing is that because of the launching of the product, they will need to have supply. And because certain manufacturers will have a so-called like big influx of orders, that not just to the main companies that produce a large volume, but small companies, players that have random volumes that comes in. So making chips is not simple like eating one, I would say, because I have been in the foundries before. So producing a chip, it might take 2 to 3 weeks and even 2 months to produce one complete set. Yeah, so it depends on how good the company is. And now I can see that semiconductors company are actually branching out even more. And TSMC has also announced a lot of new things that they want to do. And that makes other manufacturers like Micron and even other um, foundries to even to set up certain things other elsewhere. The other elsewhere I would can put it in is that they will set up even more in China.
I see. So this industry is really cyclical. Depends on the supply and demand. I have a question. It's coming to Christmas and people like to play game console. So for the Xbox and also for the PlayStation 5, I heard that AMD chips are both inside. Am I correct?
Yes, you're right. AMD chips has been confirmed for more than half a year that they are in that console. Yeah, but however, the two of them has different chips set. They are not that identical, but they have two different chipset. Yeah,
I
so
see.
yeah, actually I know this because I love to actually keep myself in this YouTube channel. It's called Linux Tech Link Tips, which is a US guy that actually goes to all these. Mainly, a lot of them are in the semicon area or in the industry that sells gaming or sells performance PC or sells performance tech, that he does reviews on and break down the so-called like the company's in-depth details of it. And this makes it easy for those people who are not in this line or those people who don't understand or the tech jargon kind of way. Yeah.
I see. So YouTube is also another good way to learn.
Yeah, I will say so because nowadays I don't think anyone will just go to Google. They will just also go to YouTube and type their search.
I see. Okay. So before we end today's chatter, I would also like to share that our YouTube channel, Ultimate Investing, there are currently more than 50 videos and counting in this channel. So please do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more stock ideas. This session will be rebroadcast and you can find it on our Facebook page later. So if you enjoyed today's chatter, don't forget to give us many likes, comment, and share with your friends. Before we end the session, I would like Devin to share two of his favorite quotes with us. Devin, you see, I have put two of your favorite quotes. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Okay, yeah, I can talk about these two quotes more about it. Is at why I like these two quotes is that Jesse Livermore tells us very clear things that if you are doing trading or even their trading on the stocks, you have to look on the profits, and then when it really losses, right? Yeah, you really need to cut the losses, or if not, as people always say, wait lah, let me see lah, let me wait lah. Yeah, so I would say that certain stock that I previously I tried to wait and let it rebounds back. Yeah, it losses more. So Jesse Livermore's teaches this very good idea. Yeah, and also Warren Buffett. For this is the thing, because what you pay for is not just the price; it's what you get out of the value of what you are paid for is the main uh, price that you are getting and the reward that you are getting. Yeah. So these two quotes actually make a so-called contrast to each other, that make sure that you don't just see the profits and remember about the losses, and look at your values when the price is right.
I see. Thank you for your quotes. Once again, a big thank you to Devin for your time in sharing with us about your investment journey. At this point, we should take a picture together. So let me just unshare. And Devin, can you give me a big, big smile? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us for the first episode. And this session will be rebroadcasted, and you can find it on our Facebook page. Remember, we have one winner for our most responsive chatter. So the contest will close this Sunday. And you can continue to comment or share our posts with your friends and family. Thank you, everybody, and take care and goodbye.
Bye bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.